Welcome to another hour-long special of Party of Six, the show where CNBC Africa chat to a group of individuals from the same industry. There'll be opinions.
There is that old perception, people say, oh, it's the wicked stage, you mustn't go into the arts, which as you grow older you realize is true.
Someone said, it's like this overnight success for you. And I was like, no, I've been doing this for 10 years.
I mean, if you do your job properly, you get to experience a different perspective.
There'll be laughter.
Yeah, you like to hit women, I watch you on the TV. I'm like, okay.
There'll be controversies.
Saga didn't stop generations. 16 actors got together and said, hey, I'm done here, bruh.
We are people who take on responsibilities beyond the paycheck.
Welcome to Party of Six. This week we chat to a roundtable of actors. The Party of Six team recorded this episode at the Butcher Block in the Rosebank Holiday Inn Crown Plaza. The Butcher Block restaurant at the Crown Plaza in Rosebank is the restaurant of choice for excellent food and relaxed dining. Offering premier cuts of meat, Butcher Block is favoured by steak lovers for its consistently juicy and tender steaks. Only AAA grade cuts are served. Butcher Block not only offers meat dishes but chicken, fish and vegetarian as well. The bright and airy Butcher Block Rosebank is the perfect business lunch destination. Our guests this week are Dan Robertson, Jody Abrams, Lohiso McDonald and Armand Okamp. Your host today is Nozipo Mbanjwa.
Guys, welcome to Party of Six. If you haven't seen the show yet, this is a time for us to just sit down around the table as friends, have a meal and a drink, and a big drink.
Are you including your imaginary friend? Because there's 5 of us here.
Let's call him Misha.
Usually, I'm always co-hosting this with David Williams, who's not here today. Quick introduction of who you are, what's your claim to fame?
I'm Dan Robertson. I'm an actor by trade. Also like to think of myself as a writer and a director. I've been on a couple of TV series that people might have seen, 90 Plain Street, Bay of Plenty. As for films, mostly you could say Blink and You'll Miss Me. Probably best known for working at the Market Theatre Laboratory and doing training and development.
Yeah, I'm Jody Abrams. Come from a long line of hooligans. Yeah. Stomped the boards a bit, been in front of cameras and stuff, but the main thing is stories. I was in 90 Plain Street, hard copy, yeah, wherever there's like a little bit of a dodgy character. I'm either the policeman or the hooligan thug, so that's
Or the corrupt police.
Yeah.
Or the corrupted.
I never got that yet.
It'll come.
Yeah.
It soon will be aging corrupt.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm Lohiso McDonald, an actor, originally from Durban, worked in theatre for a number of years, then made the move up to Joburg and have since done quite a bit of TV work in Soapy Land. I was on Isidingo for about 2 years, and now I've just started work on a show called Zabalaza on Mzansi Magic.
Aren't you in that sexy ad where you're like with
ad?
half-naked men and you're like in the middle?
How is that sexy? With
Like,
all the half-naked
I mean,
men? No, I'm joking.
hey. I mean, you can't just like.
Nando's.
Yeah.
I think Nando's. Yeah, I did a Nando's
Was that you?
parody. Yeah, it was me. I had a very big moustache then.
Hi, my name is Armand Okamp. Recently moved up from Cape Town. I did a lot of theatre in Cape Town, and then my move up here was sort of motivated by the amount of Afrikaans work. I do quite a bit of work for KykNet. And at the moment filming the remake of Ballade vir 'n Enkeling, which was quite a big Afrikaans series in the 80s.
I mean, I often hear people talking about the acting bug biting me. I mean, is that true? Did it happen like that for you?
Not really. I never did drama at school. I always wanted to, but I was very shy, and I didn't have the confidence to go and do drama at school. I played music though, and I loved performing. I started performing piano and saxophone since I was 4. So that love of performance at an early age, I don't know. It wasn't like, wow, I'm bitten by this bug, but I just really liked entertaining people. When I would sit in front of the piano or stand at Nice Thetford, that shyness would go away. because you transport yourself into this world, and I think that sort of escapism I enjoyed.
Me, the bug died. No, I was just, my best friend's mother was an opera singer. I got a bursary to study at a little private school. And because of that, I got, I was kind of like, met different people from different backgrounds, And then Evelyn Dahlberg, son Andy, and I became friends. And I went home one day, and then I used to spend a lot of time with him. And then I went to, in those days it was still called KPAB, the Nico, which is now Artscape. And she was singing lead roles in the thing, and then they would say, well, we can't have these kids running around causing havoc. So at the age of 7, they chucked us in the chorus, So I got my first role at 7 playing in the Rosenkavalier.
I think an accidental bug. I went to Wits University. I wanted to study film. When I got to the university, I realized that the film department wasn't very practical. So it was very much theoretical, but there was this great opportunity. They just built a theater. This is the early 80s. And there were a lot of opportunities to perform. You kind of got pushed into that acting thing, and then maybe once it does bite and you think, oh, this is quite nice, it's quite empowering.
Chicks dig it.
Yeah, they do. There is that old perception, people say, oh, it's the wicked stage, you mustn't go into the arts, which as you grow older you realize is true, that you actively dissuade people from entering into the profession unless they're really, really good. And they know that it's going to be tough, and you can't just, be a celebrity.
I think I was 6 years old, and they were casting for the Nativity play. Really enjoyed it. I felt it felt natural. It felt not easy, but I felt comfortable doing it. Being on stage, like you said, performing felt, because I was a very shy kid growing up, very reserved. But when I was on stage, for some reason, I didn't feel that way at all. So my mother picked this up, and she sent me to drama classes that I'd go to like once a week on a Saturday morning with other kids in primary school. And I went to those up until about grade 7, but once I got to high school, sport took over. I started playing rugby, and then didn't do it again until I finished, actually, high school.
And someone said, it's like this overnight success for you. And I was like, no, I've been doing this for 10 years. And just because now you've seen me on TV, now it's like, this is overnight, I've never seen you before, now here you are. And it's like, well, I've put in 10 years of work that no one ever sees.
The people who remain in the business are the ones who are dedicated to it and do it for a passionate reason and not necessarily for money. But they also understand what the financial implications are, that you're not going to have an easy time with house bonds, medical aids, any kind of social security net that you might find in a full-time occupation.
But one of the things that I think has come out so far is that there are at times unrealistic expectations of what the profession does yield in terms of the money that you can make. But I want us to put the elephant in the room on the table, if the table will take it. Let's talk about generations and what's happening there. I don't think that, this is an isolated incident. I think maybe it's a reflection of a deeper problem and a deeper chasm that we're perhaps not seeing as South Africans. As an outsider, when I read an actress saying, I currently make 55,000 a month, I'm like, that's good money. What are you complaining about? And this is the thing. I need you guys to set me straight, educate me if we've got this wrong.
I think in that instant, firstly, I don't think the actress ever said, I make 55,000 Rand a month, until somebody actually broached their privacy and actually revealed
That's how much
that
they
as
earn.
an amount.
Yeah.
And then obviously she stood up and owned it. Let's look at this. Let's look at generations as a commodity. Here's a commodity that is worth roughly, profit-wise, 500 million Rand a year. Okay, of which actors' salaries are a component of a revenue stream that is both attracting ad spend of a huge amount at the SABC and making a tidy profit for the producer. What's not fair is that productions like this, and Generations is not the only one, these productions are being sold or broadcast throughout Africa, for which there is still no remuneration happening. So that is a hell of a lot of exposure and a hell of a lot of other revenue that really is not really being
Is
talked
that a
about.
Generations problem, or is that an industry-wide problem?
It's an industry-wide
industry
problem. It's an intellectual property issue that, the rest of the world, producers and actors get along quite well. Even in this country, we get along pretty well because we know, what we contribute, what they contribute, and we know what's kind of fair. Where we don't really play ball as a country like you would in Europe or the United States, because it's a much larger industry and their product sells a lot better. We seem to have missed that boat in terms of understanding all the intellectual property issues around your performance rights.
I think within the greater picture, when you're looking at a continent, when you're looking particularly at Southern Africa, where a lot of people live below the breadline, there are going to be people raising their eyebrows going, oh, that's a lot of money. But this money is controlled by very few individuals in this country. There are few producers, if you look at it, who actually control these billions, And the issue is, how do you buy yourself a future? As an actor, as a creative, if someone is taking away your position to earn, your right to have a future and to pass it on to your kids. And this is a story not only of Africa, but people have always come in here and said, let me take it away from you. I have the money, you have a gift. Let me buy it from you and own you. Okay. Now, in most other countries, there are rights paid out. It's a royalty. It's an accepted norm that if I'm generating income using you and your intellectual capital, then you deserve a fee. And if we do not do the business, how can we ever continue to pay for the art? Because you're constantly killing your live stream.
Is this a game changer? The fact that this whole cast has decided to take the position, is it going to change anything? Is it sufficient? Does it really matter?
It matters in the sense for me that it's bringing to light, the fact that we're having this conversation now, it's helping bring to light a lot of the issues, particularly with the SABC, in the way they conduct their business. And these are issues that anyone who's paying a TV license or owns a TV should care about.
What about broadcasters like the platform, the DSTV platform, the satellite channel platforms? These are platforms that earn huge amounts of revenues that are, again, also, and yet they don't pay royalty rights. And I think the issue is saying, yeah, okay, let's look at, we can all put it down and say a salary. But a salary is a short-term solution. These rebroadcast rights and actual ownership, an ownership of a product, of a license, of a right, as me.
So your brand translating into equity in essence.
Of course.
That's what you
Anywhere
want.
else, if you sold a product, this bottle of wine, you're making money. Percentage has been made on this. You're going to put it here, you're going to license it, you're going to wear brand. There's equity.
The fact that COSATU at some level is getting involved points more to the fact that it's a much loved show. It has a pedigree. It has a long track record, and it's a kind of what's the word? People are invested in this show.